America, a nation of immigrants, a collection of individuals from all different backgrounds, beliefs, origins, and cultures combining to form the great American identity. In 2015, it was estimated that there are 43.3 million foreign-born individuals living in the United States. That's 13.5% of the total U.S. population. Foreign-born immigrants are a critical asset to the United States. The talent, skills, and knowledge they bring to the U.S. helps the U.S. to advance and grow into the great nation it desires to become. Unfortunately, in recent years, there has been a rise in American nationalism and calls for decreased immigration of unskilled workers, calls to build a wall across the American border, calls for deportation of undocumented immigrants. But what many Americans don't seem to realize is that the U.S. heavily relies on immigrants, both documented and undocumented, skilled and unskilled, in order to thrive, and will greatly suffer if undocumented immigrants are driven out of the country, or if the level of immigrants allowed to enter the U.S. will decrease. Take the agricultural industry. Concrete statistics on the number of farm workers in the U.S. is hard to come by, but various reports have estimated that there are anywhere from 1.5 to 2.5 million farm workers employed each year in the United States. Of those approximately 2 million workers, the American Farm Bureau asserts that about 80% of them are foreign-born and estimates that at least half of that foreign-born population is undocumented. One survey by the Department of Labor concluded that 46% of all farm workers are undocumented, while other estimates, like one from an official at the United Fresh Produce Association, put the proportion much higher, saying that around 50 to 70% of workers on American farms are undocumented. No matter what way you slice it, American agriculture is reliant on immigrant workers as a labor force. Now, hearing this, some people may say, hey, wait a minute, all those undocumented workers are taking away our American jobs. That isn't right. But the truth is, in the agricultural industry, American workers don't want agricultural jobs. Take this example from a case study done by growers in North Carolina. In 2011, 489,000 North Carolinians were unemployed. That same year, the North Carolina Growers Association listed that it had 6,500 jobs available. Only 268 of the 489,000 unemployed North Carolinians applied for these positions. 245 of them were hired. On the first day of work, only 163 of the hired 245 showed up, and of that 163, only 7 finished out the season. 90% of the mainly Mexican workers who filled the rest of the positions completed their entire season on the farm. Another farm in South Carolina ran into the same problem. A peach farmer had advertised over 2,000 job openings from 2010 to 2012. He could only find 483 U.S. applicants to fill the spots he needed. Of that 483, 109 didn't show up for their first day on the job. Of the remaining 374 workers, 321 quit within the first 3 days on the job, and only 31 U.S. workers completed the entire harvesting season on the peach farm. This lack of reliable American workers is a trend being seen over and over again across U.S. farms all over the country. So, what do farmers do when they can't find Americans to work in their fields? They turn to immigrants, who need the work, are willing to toil under such harsh conditions, and are arguably more reliable than their American counterparts. However, as we learned earlier, more than half of the immigrants working in American fields lack legal documentation. The number of undocumented immigrants available for employment has also begun to decrease as people stop making the dangerous journey over the American border, intimidated by the government's current administration and its attitude toward undocumented individuals. An economic boom in Mexico has also led to less undocumented immigrants in the United States. So, how do we solve this worker shortage? Well, that's where the H-2A program comes in.